प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवैति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते बोधोऽन्यसाधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनं पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति. We'll chant from verses 5 to 9. Verse number 5 to verse number 9 of chapter 5. यत्साङ्ख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. यत्साङ्ख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति. संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति. योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतान् भूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते. योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्वतः युक्तमन्येत तत्त्ववेत् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्नन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन्. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववेत् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्नन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन्. प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्निशन्निशन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन्निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. Okay. Hari Om and welcome.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om.
Best
Happy Dussehra to everybody.
Yes, happy
Hari Om.
Lakshmi.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. So this is a auspicious day of Vijayadashmi, and you know, those of us who indulge in knowledge, we try to generalize everything. We say every day is a Vijayadashmi whenever there is a victory of knowledge over, ignorance and stuff like that. But days like this are very important to celebrate, right? If you're a enlightened one, then of course every day is a Vijayadashmi for you. But for the rest of us, days like this are very important to symbolize the journey that we are all on. So having gone through the glorious 9 days of Navratri, we're now at the culmination. The culmination of the journey is Vijayam, right? It's the victory of truth, of Satyam. Satyameva Jayate. For those of you who don't know, that's actually taken from the Upanishads. Satyameva Jayate. Satyameva Jayate Nanratam Satyena Pantha. So, this very essential, inspiring symbolism of our entire nation, Satyameva Jayate, is rooted in this Indic thought. And Satyam wins, but not so easily. You have to go through the entire battle, right? Which is symbolized by the Navratri. So, a glorious Vijayadashmi to everyone, and hope you have wonderful celebrations at home. I'm glad to be back, where we were discussing chapter 5. So last class we started chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. And for those of you who weren't present, of course, we talked about the journey from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 5. So chapter 1 to 6 encapsulates an individual's journey on the spiritual path, an individual's growth all the way from despondency, confusion, dejection to a state of meditative awareness in chapter 6, which is called Dhyana Yoga. So how an individual grows with knowledge, with application, with precision to a stage of renunciation and ultimately meditation. So this chapter 5 is talking about that state of renunciation one experiences after having established oneself in yoga. So the word sannyas, which we actually use loosely, sannyas is a result and not the start. Sannyas is a result of your spiritual effort. In fact, later in chapter 18, you think it's all spoken out here and Arjuna has understood. Actually, the Lord understands that simply explaining it once doesn't help, or twice doesn't help. So as a culmination of the entire Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18, again he talks about sannyas and the distinction between Tyaga and sannyas. So we touch upon this subject again, wherein Tyaga represents the effort you put in onto the path and sannyas represents the result you gain from your spiritual effort. So this idea of a sense of sannyas from action, sannyas from preoccupation, sannyas from entanglement in the world, is what you attain from your spiritual efforts from karma yoga and jnana karma sannyasa yoga. Practicing renunciation in action, you gain renunciation from or renunciation of action. So we started this chapter in the last class and we talked about a very important verse we concluded with, wherein he said that, of course, he gave a couple of qualities, essential qualities of a nitya sannyasi, right? Sannyasi is not anyone and everyone who decides I'm a sannyasi. These are some essential qualities. He is a perpetual sannyasi, a real sannyasi, a constant sannyasi, not a weekend sannyasi, who neither hates nor desires, who is free from the pairs of opposites. Such a person is ready, prepared to be set free from bondage, just like a fruit is ready to be plucked from a tree. When a fruit is ready to be plucked from a tree, when it's ripe, I don't know if you've ever had the chance to do your bit of gardening or farming, but when a fruit is ready to come out from the tree, it's ripe, it just comes off. It's a beautiful feeling when the stalk is ready to detach, and that's the state of sannyas. When you're ready, there's no conflict, there's no force, it doesn't require much effort. That spiritual state of withdrawal is a natural state and not something you have to force upon yourself. So to a sannyasi, sannyas is not difficult. That's what I wanted to understand. If hearing the word sannyas makes you feel, oh my God, I have to do so much, I have to leave everything behind, I have to give up so many things, oh my God, that means you're not ready for sannyas. It's like a fruit that's not ready to be plucked, right? But for a sannyasi, sannyas is the easiest thing. In fact, not sannyas is painful. The opposite is painful. Indulgence and involvement is painful. Entanglement is painful. Beautiful quality of a jnani. Later in the Bhagavad Gita, he'll say distaste for crowds. Distaste for crowds. Now, it doesn't mean you hate everyone around you. No, it's just that desire for solitude. Now you all will all say, yes, we are all jnanis because we all love solitude. I can't stand the sound of people in my house. Everyone just should leave me alone. Let's put in the cart before the horse. Every jnani has a likeness for solitude, but everyone who has a likeness for solitude is not a jnani. Okay, the converse is not true. So you have a likeness for solitude and you say I'm a jnani. No, it doesn't work that way. It's the other way around. Right? If you're a jnani, you have a likeness for solitude. And the beautiful verse we concluded in verse number 4. He said, Sankhya yoga prithak balaha. Sankhya yoga, those who speak of them separately as different. Prithak balaha, they are children. They don't really understand the spiritual journey. They are just spiritual novices. They are spiritual novices who are just taking their half-baked understanding. So the first tendency on the spiritual path, like anything in the world, is to develop factions and to develop a preference for your journey, for your path. See, the spiritual path has innumerable ways and methods. Even within karma, bhakti, jnana, there are different flavors. Jnana itself comes with different flavors. The first tendency is to say, this guru is the best, or this sampradaya is the best. It's made of sampradayas. That's the actual term in our culture, sampradaya. And naturally a competition between sampradaya, because humans know how to complicate everything. So those who say this sampradaya is better than that sampradaya, or those who say this path, bhakti, is better than jnanam, the very fact that you're seeing it as separate, the very fact that Arjuna is asking, what is better, renunciation or karma? Sannyas or karma? Karma yoga, or one can interpret it as jnana yoga. which are different. He's saying children speak of it as different. So, Arjuna, you're a child, just like most of us, who create these factions and divisions. Depending on your nature, depending on your temperament, depending on your state of evolution, you are aligned and attracted to one or the other. And when you do that, when you align to the relevant path based on your nature, the fruit of both is the same. It's the same journey. I can't explain this. Neither can the Lord. In the next verse, he'll tell us, he can't explain this. If you see it, you see it. If you want to stick with your sampradaya or your type of sadhana, I wish you the best. But maturity, growth, evolution is in seeing that all of these journeys are but the same. In fact, everyone needs a little of everything. If you are to truly go by it, everyone needs a little bit of karma, a little bit of bhakti, a little bit of jnanam, a little bit of hatha, a little bit of puja, everything. Okay, so that's where we were. For those of you who missed the last class, that's where we concluded. I'm happy to take up any quick questions. Yes, Rashmiji.
I have questions from the beginning of the chapter.
Sure.
So there is, it's how they relate to action. So there's this sentence which says, he acts without any attachment. Consequently, his actions are not sinful and do not leave a residue of vasanas and desires. So here I felt that the author is using the word sinful. Is it that when we are attached and our actions, they do definitely leave a residue, but are we sinning also every time we are acting with attachment?
He acts without any attachment. Consequently, his actions are not sinful and do not leave a residue of vasana/desires. See, per se, these two things are separate. Sin is mental agitations as a result of certain type of activity you perform. Right? When actions rebound to create a sense of guilt, agitation, stress, anxiety, whatever, it's called a sin. Because there's something inside you which is pricking you, which is telling you maybe you didn't take the right course, or this is not the right course of action. It's not the right way to conduct yourself. That's sin. And the residue, the vasana that is created as a result of a certain desire-ridden action or attachment is the result of an action. So independently, these two are separate concepts, right? And both are consequences of acting with attachment. So when you act with a sense of attachment, yes, on the one hand, it is agitating. It is troubling. When you are attached to something or someone, whatever happens to that thing will happen to you. It will create a sense of chaos and suffering in your own head. You're setting yourself up for trouble. Attachment is the biggest mental disease. Take it or leave it. It's hard for people to swallow. First of all, we don't understand what is attachment. And only after, we go into self-defense. Because we don't understand what is attachment. When you see attachment for what it is, it's a disease. I can take it in writing. Every single one of your problems in life is because of attachment. We're not talking about right or wrong. There can be noble attachment also. There can be ignoble attachment and noble attachment. It'll cause suffering at some level. So actions create a sense of sin, guilt, suffering, stress, whatever. And functioning with a sense of attachment also creates further vasanas, creates that residue, adds to your bucket of vasanas. It creates further entanglement and perpetuates your cycle of birth and death in that sense, right? We've talked about this. So, yes, these are two separate, maybe there's no need to confuse the two. These are just two consequences of attachment. They're related, but they're separate. I mean, these are, as I said, intellectually we dissect these concepts to understand them independently.
So I have more questions. There is the third point, state of supreme being.
Yeah.
The self Atman through the primeval cause of all actions is not at all liable for either the merit or demerit accruing from them.
Hmm.
So why is it not liable for either? I've not understood the sentence at all.
The self Atman, though not through, though the primeval cause of all action, is not liable for either the merit or the demerit accruing from them.
They are
The,
not.
the Atman is only the enlivening principle.
Are.
The self, the Atman, is only the enlivening principle. It is not causing a certain kind of action. It doesn't have any desire for the action. Whatever you desire to do, you do. The self in you is simply that which is allowing your equipments to function and perform that action. Your body wants to do a certain kind of action because your senses are attracted to certain kinds of things. Do it. Without the Atman, the senses will not be able to function. Without the Atman, the organs of action will not be able to function. Without the Atman, this eye won't be able to see, this mouth won't be able to speak, this finger won't be able to move. Without that, how will you act? So the Atman is just the enlivening principle which is enabling these things to do whatever they want to do based on their gunas, based on their desires. But itself, it's not responsible. It's like holding electricity responsible. Hey, electricity, hey, you're cooling the room, man, too much. Because of you, the room is getting too cold. Arey, that's because of the AC. The AC with its gunas. What is the AC's gunas? To cool. What is the AC's gunas? To create certain circulation or whatever. Now the AC with a certain guna is set to temperature 17, 18 degrees. You're living in an igloo or whatever. You're living in a cold room with the AC. You can't blame the electricity. So the electricity is not at all liable for the cold room. Just as the electricity is not liable for heat, the electricity is not liable for light. The light in a halogen is very sharp. The light in a small bulb is dim. The electricity is not liable. Right? So, using the enlivening principle of the Atman, enlivened by the Atman, the body performs good actions or bad actions. Do what you will.
Other questions then. Number 4. Renunciation precedes meditation and realization. The wise understand the ephemeral nature of contact-born enjoyments and prevent any desire from developing into an uncontrollable force or momentum. Why momentum?
Your question is why momentum? No, desire, as we said, desire is like a stream of thought. If a thought is a drop of water, desire is like a trickle, or actually desire is like a stream, little more than trickle. Drop, 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 drop. It develops a trickle. A trickle, 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 trickle develops into a stream. A stream grows into a torrential flow. So it's developing momentum. It's developing a force. Now he's saying the wise understand this. The wise understand. Dhyayato vishyan punsaha sangasto shupajayate sangat sanjayate kaman kaman krodha vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Verse number 62 or 63 of chapter 2. Thank you for reminding us of it. The wise understand That a thought turns into an attachment, attachment turns into a desire, desire causes anger, fear, jealousy, greed, worry, anxiety, stress. That all causes a confusion of memory. All of that causes the intellect to be challenged. And when the intellect is succumbed, when you lose your capacity to think, reason, judge, decide, pranashyati, it causes your own destruction. So this momentum, which starts off like an innocuous thought, has a potential to grow into a torrential desire with all sorts of modifications and complications. The wise understand this. So they maintain elbow room. They function in the world, but they are very conscious of what thought they allow to grow, what thought they don't allow to grow. What thought they spend a second moment on, what thought they dismiss immediately. Get thee behind me, stay away from me. It's that consciousness which makes you wise. All sorts of thoughts come into your mind and my mind. You can't control necessarily what comes up, but you can control what you allow to grow. You can control what you cultivate. You're a gardener, your mind is a garden, right? The moment you allow a seed to sprout, I mean, you don't have a control over what seed sprouts. If you've ever done gardening, you'll realize that. Millions and millions of seeds, God knows from how many generations, and they are filled with weeds. Now, your job as a gardener is to remove the weeds and to consciously allow what you want to grow to flourish. So, if you're a bad gardener, you won't be conscious. You'll allow weeds to grow. And oh my God, once you allow a little bit of weeds to grow, after a point, they develop a momentum. They grow so quickly, you'll come the next morning, the whole place is covered with weeds. It's a back-breaking job then. Impossible to weed out the garden once it develops that momentum. Similarly, certain thoughts and desires, if they develop a certain momentum, it's very hard to disentangle yourself. It's like a spider web, you've caught yourself. Momentum. The wise understand it and are conscious of what they allow and what they don't allow. Yes, Ankit, Prachi.
Right now, in explaining the first question, you spoke of noble attachments. Haven't heard this term from you before, I think. So, what really are noble attachments?
Like unselfish attachments. Attachments to an unselfish cause.
How different from our obligatory duty.
Or even attachment for, say for example, your attachment to your child. It need not necessarily be, a mother or a father doesn't want to use their child for any other purpose. But there is tremendous attachment. There is a tremendous sense of mindness. And despite all the good you want to do, there is, what is attachment? Attachment is a sense of permanence you ascribe to something, and a sense of mindness you ascribe to something, right? So you can develop gross attachments, you can develop subtle attachments, you can develop selfish attachments, you can develop 99% of attachments are selfish. But there are subtler and certain, if you're doing some service, you can develop attachment to that field of activity. Either an attachment to the outcome, whether it's working or not working, whether it's making a difference.
But will that ultimately affect our ability to sort of execute those actions with the,
Indeed, no doubt about it. It may not stop us, but it will definitely hamper our ability to do it, because it will burn us out. Attachment will burn you out. That's what it will do.
So even noble attachments, if we don't have the right attitude and sort of ultimately work to detach ourselves from it, it'll render us less than what we could be, right, in the spiritual.
Especially with something noble, you have to be detached. Especially with something noble. Uh, Swami Ramatira says fixing the world is like straightening the dog's tail. It doesn't get straightened. You'll be wanting to do something noble. You'll see the world is not bloody interested in what I'm doing. I fix something in the world, something else comes up. So, especially if you're doing something noble, if you have a big yajna that you're leading or you're a part of, you have to be more and more objective. You have to see the world as it is. If you're attached, you'll get flustered, you'll get burnt out, you'll get frustrated. If a guru got frustrated, they won't be able to sustain. So, especially if you're doing something noble, detachment is all the more important.
And this reduction of expectation, for the result, like how do you like sort of like, you can't control someone's behavior, the way circumstances line up. So then like, was there a way to bring about a sort of dispassion or just sort of, okay, just a sense of being able to.
I take to your actions like a sports person, right? First of all, take it as a game. Second of all, I'm reminded of Mark Antony's words when he gave his speech upon the pulpit in Julius Caesar. Mischief thou art afoot, take thou what course thou wilt. Mark Antony, after speaking to the crowd and subtly manipulating them, he does his part. And then he says, mischief thou art afoot. Means, I have done what I had to do. Mischief thou art afoot. Afoot means, chalo, you have done, I have done my part and I have set you on your way. Take thou what course thou wilt. Take whatever course you will. Oh, my actions, I have performed you and I have done my part. Now, whatever the results, they will brew. That attitude is what if you have that attitude, you will have less of an expectation. Of course, you do any action for a certain kind of result and for a certain kind of consequence, but you have that detachment that I have done my part. Now, if it doesn't work out, I'll do my part again. I'll try harder next time. Right? Take thou what course thou wilt. And objectivity with the full understanding that A, on the one hand, fixing the world is like straightening a dog's tail. And B, on a more positive note, that your actions have a network effect. Your actions have a cumulative effect. You may not be able to change the entire world, but you'll change 2 people. Those people will change 4 people. Those people will change 8 people. So that's the network effect by which any change is brought about. It takes time. One man started the Chinmaya mission. Of course, while he was living, it reached a certain scale. Now look at the scale. After he's gone, it's 10 times larger. One man started the 4 mathas. Shankaracharya. Long after he's gone, look at the impact. So the impact of the actions you do, especially if they're noble, they actually usually have an impact after you're gone. The world has this fascination. They won't value you while you're around, but after you're gone, it's like a painter. While he's alive, the painting will not be valued much. Oh my God. If you're an art collector, you just waiting. Shouldn't say this, but you're waiting for something to happen to the artist. Immediately the value will quadruple overnight. The world doesn't value what it has. So that's the understanding that you have as an objective person who's trying to make a change, who's trying to do something noble. That's the kind of detachment you have to have. Right? Jesus was hated while he was alive. He was put on the cross. And look at the impact his. Of course, a lot of people have piggybacked on it. Piggybacking. A lot of people have ridden the momentum. Use brand Jesus, of course, that's a separate thing. But he still lives on. His impact lives on today. So that's the objectivity with which you'll find with which you'll fight result orientation, with which you'll fight that weakness. Oh, is it working? It is. Am I successful? Am I being able to make a difference? All of those thoughts are unnecessary.
Okay. I have another question.
Yeah.
Right now, you also spoke about, we can't really control what thoughts come up, but we can control the extent to which we let them develop. So we have spoken earlier in some words about, the state of thoughtlessness. So even, when you're at a higher level, the state which is closer to thoughtlessness, so is that also something like that? Because, I never really understand how you can be completely absent of thoughts. So is it more like, you have thoughts coming up, but you are just able to like sort of nip them in the bud?
That is absolutely correct, because thoughtlessness is a utopia. It's the ultimate state. It's not something that's conceivable. But as you grow, the volume of thoughts decrease. And yes, your ability to nip them in the bud, as you said. Why? It's like traffic management, no? A, it's a traffic management. B, it's you don't necessarily want to go anywhere. Right? You don't have a strong urge to go anywhere, to ride a particular thought. So your capacity to watch and dismiss, that's meditation. What do you do in meditation? If any thought arises, gently dismiss it. How? If you're very attached, you won't be able to gently dismiss it. You'll be dragged along with the thought. Right? But as you grow detached, as you grow in spirit of sannyas, you'll be able to just watch it pass. Right? So you're absolutely right when it says that you're able to nip it in the bud when you grow, as you grow. Okay. Verse number 5. Yatsyankhai prapyate sthanam tadyogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Yatsyankhai prapyate sthanam tadyogairapi gamyate ekam sankhhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Yah pashyati sa pashyati. Even if you don't memorize this verse, memorize this phrase. Those who see it, see it. If you want to sound wise after studying the Bhagavad Gita, learn this phrase. Yah pashyati sa pashyati. Those who see it, see it. I can't explain. When you're speaking to your family members and they get really annoying and they start arguing with you, I can't explain. You are pashyati sa pashyati. It'll make you sound wise. Those who see it, see it. The Lord is saying, I'm trying to explain this one thing, but really I'm short of words. Yat sankhyai prapyate sthanam tat yogai api gamyate. The state which is reached by Sankhyas is also reached by the yogis. The state which is reached by people performing karma yoga or bhakti yoga or jnana yoga or tantra yoga or mantra yoga or hatha yoga or whatever yoga, that state is the same. The state reached by followers of Sadguru is the same state reached by followers of Parthasarthi, is the same reached by followers of Ravi Shankar, is the same state reached by followers of Shankaracharya, same state followers of Ramakrishna. Same state. Of course, if you actually follow the path. The state reached by the Sankhyas, those who are following the path of knowledge and renunciation, is also the same state reached by the yogis who are following the path of action. Based on your temperament, based on your preparation, based on your state of evolution, you take to a different path. And chances are you need a blend of both or a blend of all paths. I can't explain this. I can't explain this, O Arjuna. He who sees Sankhya and Yoga as one, he sees. The very fact that you see them as separate, the very fact that you're asking this question, which should I follow, means you don't see it. But when you see it as one, he sees. You have to develop the eyes to see. And that's the purpose of all of these discussions and classes and sadhanas. Whatever you're doing, to develop that jnana chakshu, develop that inner vision, to develop that awareness, that maturity. In any field it is true. In any field there are multiple paths and tracks you can take to developing, your proficiency in it. And when you become proficient, you appreciate that all the different paths led to this very state. You can follow a particular board, school of education, you can follow a particular college, you can go to a particular institution. It doesn't matter. When you're in that age, it matters. Oh my God, I must get into this college. Oh my God, I must get into this particular stream or this and that. But once you reach a state of proficiency, you'll realize that all of these were leading here nonetheless. So he who sees Sankhya and Yoga as one, he who understands they're two stages of the same journey, they're two facets of the same journey. These are not two separate things. And specifically with regards to Sankhya and Yoga, when you perform yoga, you achieve the deeper realizations of Sankhya. Sankhya in the beginning is just information, it's just philosophy. It's not helpful. But through a process of yoga, you develop a deeper absorption of the philosophy of Sankhya. That's what's important. So following one will help you appreciate the other. If you're doing sadhana right, you'll develop an appreciation for all paths. If you're doing sadhana right. Mantras and beautiful devotional chants and ragas will melt you. Any form of service, selfless actions will inspire you in any avenue. The different facets of knowledge will ignite you. The different perspectives will stir you into contemplation. You'll see Vedanta, you'll see, or whatever name you want to call it, you'll see your journey everywhere. As Swami Ramatirtha says, it'll be etched in the trees, it'll be floating in the breeze, it'll be flowing in the stream. In your every perception, emotion and thought, you'll be reminded of your journey. You'll see your journey in everything. He who sees, he sees. Yah pashyati, sa pashyati. After a point, words don't cut it. After a point, I'll sound repetitive. Yah pashyati, sa pashyati. Memorize this phrase. Verse number 6. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptumayo gataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirenadhigacchati. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptumayo gataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirenadhigacchati. Verse number 6. But I have told you these are one. He who sees it, and all these fancy phrases I have used. But, O Mahabahu, but, there is a big but. Renunciation is hard to attain without action. Sankhya, sannyas, is hard to attain without yoga. A sage who is well established in yoga attains Brahman along. Nachirena. In the previous chapter, he used the word Kalena and Achirena. Here is used Nachirena. Before long, it's a matter of time. One who is established in yoga attains Brahman. Renunciation is a result of yoga. Sankhya is actually a result of yoga. So I go back to our diagram. On the spiritual path, you start with yoga. Now you all, in Karma Yoga we say do seva. In Bhakti Yoga we say chant the Lord's name. Develop a spirit of devotion in that community. Bhajans, kirtans, everything. And Jnana we say study, contemplate, reflect, understand, inquire. So you've studied Sankhya Yoga. Just like you've sung bhajans and kirtan. You studied Sankhya Yoga in Jnanam, but that doesn't make you a Sankhya necessarily. That doesn't make you a sannyasi. Studying about sannyas doesn't make you a sannyasi. If it was so easy, then we won't have these classes. But yoga is a combination of all of these karma, bhakti, jnana. When you sit with these ideas and then through all your perceptions, emotions and thoughts and then through all your relationships and interactions with the world, when you churn, right, the churning of the Milky Ocean, when you churn it with all the good and the bad in you, with all the daivik and the asuric qualities in you, when you churn this knowledge, that's when you'll get the Amritam. So in a relative sense, Amritam is a sense of renunciation. This is what is sannyas. This is what is Sankhya, that deeper impact of knowledge. Not intellectual understanding and knowing, but the deeper impact of that deeper awareness that you develop, that inner awareness that you develop. It's a state of uparati, pratyahara, renunciation. So here's what he's saying, that first of all, people who see uparati and yoga as separate, people who see them as different, are children. That means you don't understand the actual journey, the inner journey. On the other hand, uparati is hard to achieve without yoga. You can't jump to uparati. I'm going to take out the pointer. You can't jump to uparati. You have to go through yoga. Renunciation is hard to attain without yoga. If you are born a sannyasi, like the rare person is born a sannyasi. We hear of an Adi Shankaracharya. We hear of a Ramana Maharishi, who with just an experience or two was completely transformed. How is that possible, one may ask? It's not that there are exceptions to the rule still follows. Their punarjanma vasanas, their punarjanma karmas, they have done a lot of yoga. And no effort is lost on this journey. So in fact, if you think, oh, I'm too old to do yoga, no. Whatever you do today you will reap the benefits of it tomorrow, in this life or the next. Hopefully there's no next. Hopefully we concluded this time itself, with this opportunity itself. So uparati is a consequence of yoga. Renunciation is a result of yoga. Renunciation is hard to attain without yoga. So focus on the yoga. 99.9% of us need yoga. If you're already in a state of uparati, we wouldn't be sitting in this classroom. We wouldn't need to hear this. As they say, Swamiji used to say, if a student doesn't come back, two things are possible. Either he's not interested anymore, or he's got the message. He's got the fruit of the message. He's attained uparati. He doesn't need me anymore. So when you attain uparati, you don't need to hear lectures again. Okay, if you think you've attained uparati, that's a problem. Oh, I'm a renunciate. I don't need anything. That's also a problem. Anybody who blows their own trumpet, I'm very developed now. Chances are they're not developed. So always treat yourself like a yogi. Right? Don't have to stamp yourself with sannyasi. Don't have to worry. Am I sannyasi? It doesn't matter. You're a yogi. Always treat in any field, even in a mundane field of knowledge, the most advanced people actually treat themselves as students. They are always wanting to learn more and gain more. Right? So yogi is a learner on the spiritual path. Right? So always think of yourself as a yogi. And these are all the same journey all the way until, why isn't this? Yeah, all the way until samadhi, where you attain Brahman. So he says, renunciation, uparati, is hard to attain without yoga. It's impossible. If you've not done the adequate yoga, you won't achieve the state. And without this state, you won't be able to progress towards samadhi. But when you're established in yoga, it's a matter of time. When you're established in yoga, you will gradually develop, like a fruit develops on a tree. Once the fertilization has happened, it's a matter of time, right? Once the fertilization has happened, once the pollination has happened, it's a matter of time that the flower will develop into a fruit, will easily fall off the tree. But until and unless that pollination has happened, until and unless the pollination is yoga, fertilization is yoga, that transformation. Without pollination, you won't even turn into a fruit. So, a sage who is well established in yoga, one who always thinks of themselves as a yogi, and when you're established, it's a matter of time that you will attain. So don't worry, do I need to renounce? Do I need to renounce? Do I need to give up? You don't have to give up anything. You don't have to give up anything in life. You have to take up yoga. You have to take up the spirit of karma yoga and in your actions. You have to take up bhakti yoga to purify your emotions. You have to take up jnana yoga to give a direction to your thoughts and your values. Verse number 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. He who is united by yoga, who has purified and conquered the self, subdued his senses, who realizes his self as the self in all beings, such a person is not tainted, although acting. So when you take up yoga, when you are established in yoga, one who is united in yoga, yoga yukta, when you develop that attitude that I am a yogi, I don't have to worry about sannyas, I'm an eternal learner on this journey, you become yoga yukta, united in yoga, established in yoga, firm in yoga. Elsewhere he uses the term yoga rudha. Yoga rudha means firm in yoga. One who understands that this is my primary identity as a yogi. Such a person naturally becomes pure, vishuddhatma. Shuddhi Such a person is purified. गंगा जी में स्नान करने से शुद्धि नहीं होगी. If you want to enjoy some chill water, then go to Rishikesh and jump into the Ganga. But if you want Shuddhi, true Shuddhi, it's not so easy. It's symbolic. Ganga ji represents knowledge. Ganga ji represents that stream of knowledge that's coming from the heavens. If you take it all in at once, it's problem. So you have to take it in small doses. That's why Lord Shiva took it into his jatas and released it slowly, slowly, slowly. When the people on earth were thirsty for knowledge, when there was destruction, they prayed to Goddess Bhagirathi, please come save us. And she said, be careful what you ask for. I am torrential. Which means to say that you won't be able to digest all the knowledge at once. The truth is a tough pill to swallow. I cannot give you all the knowledge at one go. बहुत हो गया. बहुत है. Class flew over my head. Forget flying over your head. You will be disturbed by it. Too much knowledge is difficult to swallow. That's why you and me need knowledge in small doses. That's why a yogi like Lord Shiva, that's why someone who is detached and someone who's evolved, like a guru, will take it into his jatas. Only a person who's ready to receive the full truth, a yogi, a true evolved person, such a person receives it in his jatas and slowly, trickle by trickle, gives it to us. So that's the symbolism of that journey, of that episode in the Puranas. That's how you purify yourself. As I said, the Gangaji represents knowledge taken in small doses. So taking a dip in the Ganga actually represents immersing yourself in spiritual learning. Such a person becomes Vishuddhatma. Such a person becomes Vijitatma. You conquer yourself. You conquer your own mind and its entanglements. You conquer your own emotions and their enticements. You become Jitendriyaha. We give our children the name Jitendra. Of course, I don't think it's a fashionable name anymore. I'm becoming a mama for the second time. My class members know everything. So yesterday we were thinking of names. So my sister told me, think of a name which you think I'll never give. I said, think of a name you'll never give. I don't know why the name Surendra came to my head. I was like, you'll never give the name Surendra. It's a beautiful name. Jitendra, it's a beautiful name, but it's not fashionable anymore. Now we want Kavit, Shavit. It's not fashionable. But Jitendra, at one point we gave our children the name Jitendra. It means one who has subdued their senses, one who has won victory over the Indriyas. You and I are not Jitendra. We are the victims of our senses. We are the slaves of our senses. Whatever the senses want, we give in to them. But one who is spiritually evolved is Jitendra. It doesn't mean they suffocate themselves, but they rule over their senses. They are able to tell the senses, no, this is not for me. Or they allow the senses, okay, enjoy this. Jitendra. So when you are united to yoga, you develop Vishuddhi, you develop Vijitatma, you develop the Jitendra. You become Vishuddh, you become victorious over your emotions, you become victorious over your senses when you are established in yoga. Such a person realizes the self in the self. Such a person is prepared for that ultimate awakening, enlightenment, seeing his true self through meditation. And such a person who has attained this enlightenment is not tainted. No further vasanas are accumulated. Hmm? They are finishing the cycle of birth and death. They conclude the cycle of birth and death. No further janma. They've attained mukti, liberation. So, don't worry about renunciation, don't worry about mukti. What do you need to think about? Yoga. I need to be yoga yukta. I need to become established in yoga. Ere long, before long, I will attain all of these other things. Focus on yoga and everything else will take care of itself. With that thought, we'll conclude today. And I feel like I've been speaking for a long time. Actually, when I also chant, when I only chant, and when I only speak, it feels like I'm a endless record player. At some point, I'll need one of you to volunteer to chant. It gives me also a break, and it'll give you a break also from my voice. So with that thought, I'm going to conclude our discussion, and if there are any quick questions, I'm happy to take them.
Utsav, I just wanted to clarify this. In this verse, it says, "Who realizes his self as the self in all beings?"
Hmm.
I didn't get that. I mean, what does that mean?
The self in you is the same as the self in me. You and I have a sense of separateness, have a sense of differentiation because, for starters, our bodies are different. Physically, our bodies are different. There's no intersection, right? Okay, if you and I are of the same skin color and ethnicity, immediately there's a commonness. But essentially, the bodies are different. And that's why we have a sense of your body and my body. Our minds are different, our emotions are
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Stage of life, I'm at a different stage of life. You have a different set of values, I have a different set of values. Sure, where there are commonalities, we connect with each other. Where there are commonalities, we are able to tolerate each other. But if our values are too different, we won't be able to stand each other. Right? But when it comes to your consciousness and my consciousness, when it comes to that enlivening principle, which is enlivening your body to function, enlivening your mind to function, and that same enlivening principle in me, the light in you is the same as the light in me. And so when I do namaste to you, when I bow to you, I'm bowing not to your body, I'm bowing not to your mind or intellect. I'm not bowing to your designation or your surname. I'm not bowing to your bank balance. I'm bowing to that light in you. I'm recognizing that the Atman in you is the same as the Atman in me. Namaste. I bow Namaha Te, not to Anju, but the self within Anju. So one who realizes the self within him as the same self in all beings. Everybody is a self enveloped by Nama Rupa, name and form. The same self enveloped with a certain kind of body and a certain kind of name. It's called Anju. The same Atman enveloped with a different kind of body and a different kind of name is called Vijay. A third is the same self with a different Nama Rupa. When you're able to go beyond Nama Rupa and penetrate through the material layers and acknowledge the Atman, the homogeneous Atman, it's like electricity. Electricity in the bulb is the same as the electricity in the television, is the same as the electricity in the fan, is the same as the electricity in the air conditioner. At no point can you separate electricity. You can't. But the electricity flowing through the air conditioner is allowing it to cool. The electricity flowing through the bulb is allowing it to glow. Electricity is actually one, it's indivisible. But when we see it as the bulb, we see it glowing. When we see it as the air conditioner, we see it cooling. Similarly, when you see the Atman in Anju, it's doing a certain kind of action. And you see the Atman in Utsav, it's doing a certain kind of action. But the Atman is the same. One who realizes that Atman is the same.
So does it mean that we treat everybody equally?
You don't
Or
treat
we
everyone equally.
equally treat means that we
Have samabhav.
feel that everyone is equal or the same.
Where is the question of equality? Do you treat the bulb equally to the air conditioner?
No.
The bulb has a certain function, the air conditioner has a certain function. In a room, you need one air conditioner, but you need 10 bulbs or 5 bulbs. Right? So they have their different functions. So seeing the electricity flowing through all is not the same as treating them as the same. You have to treat people. You won't treat your office colleague like your wife, right? I hope not. You won't.
Treating, I meant that are all equal beings. I mean, they're all the same.
Where is the equality? What is the meaning of equal? When I see the self in you, you are the same as me. So I'm not saying discriminate, but you can't just whitewash it as saying, oh, equal. No, there's no such equality. Everyone has a different role in your life. You must embrace your family, but you don't have to embrace every stranger on the street. See, people develop this sense of equality. Oh, let's spread love in the world and let's go hugging everyone. No, you don't have to do that. That's why in the Bhakti Yoga, he says, you don't have to love everyone. You just have to hate no one. That's enough. Don't hate anyone. And don't have to go and annoy them and hug them and embrace them. As long as you don't have ill feeling. So when you're able to appreciate everyone for what they are and who they are, I think I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yes, appreciate everyone for what they are and who they are. At the same time, understanding that beyond their personalities, there is a deeper awareness, a deeper being, the Atman in them, right? When you treat everyone in that sense, that's a good way to function. So it's very different from seeing it as equal or seeing it as the same. No.
Yes, I understand now. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much. I'm just wondering if we want to make up class the weekend or something. So I'll just set in a poll on the group because we missed class on Tuesday. So if people are available, I'm happy to conduct class of the next couple of days. So I'll just post it on the group and you can put in your votes. Thank you so much for joining today and have a good day. Happy Vijayadashmi again and see you the next time I see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari